My name is Aram, my pronouns are he, him, and welcome to Rise of the Demigods. Rise takes place just before the breaking of the world, when the old gods sought to bolster their claim on Calgon by siring demigod offspring to rule it. Their divine children laid waste to whole continents in their name, and many mortals of the realms grew to despise them. Coalitions were formed and armies marched upon their divine creators, slaughtering many of the demigods and threatening the rule of the gods themselves. Desperate to halt this erosion, the old gods called a council to deal with the demigod issue once and for all. It was decreed that each god was allowed to claim 3 demigod offspring. Those who were born on claim must prove their worth through training and trials in the divine halls and magical valleys of the Temple of Udea. Our story begins with 4 such young demigods, ripped from their homes and families by seekers who work for the temple. For more about our story, including pre-orders for the Rise of the Demigods book, head over to demigodsfall.com and follow us on Twitter at Demigodsfall.
Hello, my name is Tommy Schuberth. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Zendar Garrul, a tiefling rogue.
All right. So you are playing Zendar, and why don't you tell us a little bit
Garrul.
about Zendar Garrul and how his life has been so far?
You're half Armenian. Why do you say it so white?
I don't know. I can't
I'm
say
much
it.
whiter than you. And you're saying it whiter than I.
Garrul.
All right, that's better.
Garrul.
All right. He is the Demigod of Shadows, and he's actually known this for a while now.
Right.
His powers manifested a lot earlier than most people.
Right.
And his mom is very savvy in a lot of ways, and so she has been training him for when the temple comes for him.
Right. When she realized you were born, and it was a terrifying birth, because you were born with the ability to see, but then as soon as you were born, like blackness, shadow, basically swirled over your eyes, and you were rendered blind in a way.
Yes.
And she saw that and immediately recognized who and what you were.
And I think so. Really, the only vision I have is this vision of my young mother's face. And so I think everything in my life has kind of revolved around that.
Sure.
That one image. And that's what got me through a lot of the darker times and times when she wasn't so kind and loving.
Yeah, she pushed you really hard.
Yeah.
She's basically trained you since you could hold a stick to be a weapon.
Yeah.
And you guys were in an elven village for a while?
Yes. She originally... My adoptive father was an elven community leader of sorts, like an elder, and
Like an elven Barack Obama. Yeah.
sure,
A good guy looking out for the community, you know.
sure, if you want to go there.
Yeah.
More like a Chance the Rapper as mayor.
I could buy that. Excellent. Okay. So your father was like Chance the Rapper if he was elected mayor of Chicago.
Yes.
Done. Excellent.
Everybody loved him, and he was sort of a mixed religious leader and just community leader.
Sure.
And so he worshipped the god Mordros.
Right.
Mordros, the god of fate.
Right.
And he sort of realized he found my mother,
Okay.
who was previously a sort of petty thief.
Right. To survive.
Yeah, she had fought to survive on the streets of Skyhaven her whole life, and she was a criminal.
Yeah.
And she came across this village that seemed like a perfect target.
So she was run out of Skyhaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't really run out. She just sort of... She got into trouble there.
Sure.
And she had to escape and acquire a new name and that sort of thing. But
what do you call being run out? That sure sounds like being run out.
Well, being run out is like with a mob with pitchforks.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And she was caught in the temple stealing their ceremonial chalice.
In the temple in this elven village.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he caught her. And he talked her down. And she put it back. And even though she could have easily killed him.
Yes.
And from that day forward, she was reborn.
Oh.
She saw herself as sort of a born-again religious type, where it was fate that had brought her to the temple that day, and it was fate that would control her the whole rest of her life, and the god of fate.
Oh, so she adopted that as her own religion.
Yes. He sort of brought her into this religious following.
Sure.
And
into his home. Because
into his home, and they were married for a short while. And while they were married, the god Lordros came to my mother, and he basically said, I have, at least this is how she tells it.
Sure.
He told her that I have a job for you. This is your fate. Your fate is to birth this bringer of justice who will purge the world of all its evils.
Right.
And as a person who had experienced a lot of evil in her life, she sort of jumped at this chance.
Sure, sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, and this is this new god that she's just now worshiping, and he comes to her, and it's all very exciting.
Sure.
But it also terrifying.
Yeah.
And the next day, she was pregnant. And now my mother is a tiefling.
Right.
And her husband was an elf.
So they knew it couldn't be him.
So they knew it couldn't be him.
Right.
And it was a tiefling baby.
Right.
Whereas if it was an elf, it would have to be an elf baby because
Yeah.
they would do the heart tree thing and all that.
Right, exactly.
So
Little titty baby with little horns.
yes, I had little nubs. I was like baby Darth Maul.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Minus the bad face paint.
Yeah. But I had good face paint. No face paint.
That guy looked wet the whole time.
Those actually aren't. Fun fact:
Yeah.
those aren't face paint. Those are tattoos.
What the hell are you talking about?
Darth Maul.
Oh,
those
yeah,
are
the
face tattoos.
character,
Well, yeah.
but not the actor. I'm saying what I was looking at looked like wet paint the whole time.
Oh no, it didn't.
Totally did. Anyways, that was just me. Let's not
Anyway.
get off on a Darth Maul
Let's not
thing.
get off on the Darth Maul thing.
So you had little baby nubs,
Yes.
and you were born and raised in this village.
Yes, for a short time.
Right.
For the first 3-4 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then my adoptive father died. And
And the village wasn't too keen on you to begin with.
no,
Yeah.
they were not. They were not keen on my criminal mother and her tiefling son.
Her bastard tiefling son,
Yes.
which they all knew. Yeah.
Yes. So once he died, we were kind of run out of the village.
Sure. Again. Yeah.
Again. And it was also assumed that we were responsible for his death somehow.
Sure, of course.
And so we had to sort of escape in the dead of night and leave behind most of our things because they would have seen the stealing.
Yeah.
So we went to Skyhaven.
Right.
Back to my mother's homeland.
The place she knew.
Yeah, the place she knew. And we were already near Skyhaven. We were in the Palewood Forest, I think.
Yeah.
And we basically, my mother became a caretaker for like sort of a middle class family, like upper middle class, but not like super wealthy.
A quiet job where she could make some money.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah, because her big problem was that she wouldn't debase herself anymore.
Sure.
Because she had debased herself for most of her life by being this criminal.
Yeah.
And so she wouldn't debase herself. So she wouldn't take any jobs that were either not that she wouldn't take any jobs that she didn't deem godly.
Sure. Fair enough. Appropriate for the mother of the Hellbringer.
Yes.
Right.
Justice
bringer. Pardon
Shadow,
me.
whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Whatever flavor you want to put on it. Yeah.
Whatever you want to put on it. But she raised me there, in Skyhaven and in the woods around. We would go hunting. She took me hunting quite early on.
Sure. Wanted you to learn how to hunt, and also wanted you to learn how to kill.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was preparing me to kill people. And when my powers eventually manifested, I think she started to realize that this was a demigod.
Yeah.
Like I think she started to fear me a lot more.
Well, sure.
Because at first it was like, well, this is just a person that's going to affect the world.
Sure.
Whereas the second that shadow went over my eyes, I think she realized this is a monster.
Yeah, something different. A monster was born to take care of other monsters.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's how she's always seen me.
All right. Excellent. Well, listen, let's start real quick with one of your hunting trips.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you guys are out in the woods in the far outskirts of Skyhaven, which is this gigantic city that it basically has all these ports and then all these deep canals that are dug through the city and all the buildings align next to it. And then it's all up against this huge plateau, and all the rich people and the government officials and all the fancy stuff is up at the top of the plateau, and everyone who works for a living is kind of down next to it. Yeah. So you guys are way out in the woods, and it takes you a good long time to get out there, even from where you are in the city. And she has you hunting. What would you think you'd be hunting for?
How old am I?
I'd say at this point you are 12.
12. I think maybe like a baby deer.
Yeah, like a deer. Yeah, exactly. All right, I would like you. So you guys are in the woods, and she's been teaching you how to be quiet, right? No rabbits. She's been teaching you how to be quiet, how to move quietly, how to stay in the shadows. And you have a natural knack because you understand where the shadows are. When you feel the shadows around you, it's how you are able to interact with the world.
Yeah.
It's how you know where things are. All right, so we are deep in the forest, and I would like you to roll a perception.
All right. That is a nat 20.
That's going to do it. So you all are kind of creeping through the woods. Your mom backs off for a second. Like she's been right behind you, and now she kind of stays back as you go about 40, 50 feet forward. And you come to a clearing where there's a stream. And there's like this deep embankment on both sides. So it's a perfect place to capture something. And drinking water right down in this embankment is a single deer. Female, probably 6-7 years old.
Can I tell all this? Like,
yes, with a 20, yeah. You can tell all
no,
this.
but I mean like...
Well, it has no horns, so you know it's not a stag.
Okay, so I can... Just to clarify what I can sense.
Yes.
So I get like an outline, sort of an aura around the creature.
Right, exactly.
And
you got no
their,
horns.
Their displacement the displacement of light.
Sure.
Of their shadow.
Yeah, and like little streaks of light are cutting through the canopy and like biting into it. So it's like It's not full. Like there's little.
Dappled, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there are no horns. The size is about right. So it is a young adult female deer.
All right. Well, I draw my bow.
Okay. So you have a short bow with you, and you have arrows with you, and she has fletched each of these arrows herself, so they're all perfect. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to roll to hit.
All right. That is 9 plus. Where is? I've never used the Beyond before.
Okay. So you want to push this?
Yeah.
And then actions.
Oh, okay. That is a short bow
Yep.
plus 6 to hit.
That's gonna hit. All right. Roll damage.
15. All right. And that is 1d6 plus 4.
Yep.
That's a 1. 5.
Okay, so you fire, and you are firing right for its neck. But at the last second, it dipped its head down to take a drink. So you cut along its back and open up like a big gash on its back. And it startles, it stumbles for a second, and then takes off running. You'll have 1, maybe 2 more shots before it gets out of range, unless you want to run after it.
Can I run without any negatives on my shooting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to run after it while
Okay,
shooting.
so you move 30 feet and fire again?
Yeah.
All right, roll to hit.
Oh, that was almost a 19, but it's a 19 total.
Yeah, that's going to be fine. Roll damage.
7.
All right, you sink that one right back into its like ass area, basically. It stumbles, it splashes into the water, it's clawing to get up, and it looks like it's going to run again.
All right, I shoot it again.
All right. That's going to hit. That's a 17.
Yes. Another 5 damage.
Okay, so you sink one into its like left shoulder, and it just crumples, and it's laying there, and it's panting, and you hear this like.
My powers haven't unlocked yet, right?
Not really, not yet, except for your ability to sense your surroundings. That's really all that you have available at this moment. So it's just kind of shuddering and moaning in front of you, splashing about in the water.
All right, I pull out my hunting knife.
Yep.
And I walk over, and I kind of lay my hand on its side and kind of stroke its side.
Animal handling.
That's going to be a 2 plus. Does it really matter? Plus 3.
Yeah, so 5 total. Yeah, it kicks and bucks. I need you to roll strength.
That's another nat 2.
Okay, you're barely able to physically restrain this thing as it's kicking and like rolling over top of you. There's blood. You just got stuck in the side with an arrow. The thing is yelling. What do you do?
I slit its throat.
Okay. You can hit it because it's going to be hit. It can't.
Well,
really
I should try to like see if I can get the throat.
Oh, you want to get nice? Okay.
Well, because
roll to hit. I roll with advantage because you have pretty much control over the creature.
That is
18 plus 6?
24.
Yeah, that's going to do it. So you just you slash the creature's throat fairly violently because it is struggling, and it just goes limp immediately. And this warm, you're kind of like sitting in this like shallow river, and this warm blood splashes out into your lap and into the river, and now there's just like this snake of red right down the river in front of you as you're holding this creature in its last moments.
I think at this point I'm kind of desensitized because even though I'm only 12.
Yeah. This is still pretty bad, though.
It's pretty bad, but I cannot cry.
Yeah.
Because my mother sees me crying. I can't let my mother see me cry.
She actually slides right up. Like, she just suddenly is there behind you.
Yeah, and I'm just like...
Yeah. And for some reason, once in a while, your mother seems able to slip out of your sight. Like, she just is sometimes there and you didn't expect her. Or sometimes she steps away out of a room and you didn't notice her leave. And not always, but once in a while, she's able to do it. Or it just happens. Maybe you let your guard down. Who knows? But she's just there. And she's a hand on your shoulder. And she gently squeezes your shoulder. And she just says, I am so proud of you. You've done so well today. I know these are hard, but every time you kill, it'll get a little easier.
I think part of me wants it to get easier,
Sure.
and part of me doesn't.
Right.
And I think right now the part that wants it to get easier is winning over.
Right.
Because my mom's right here, and if it gets easier, then I won't cry. And so I definitely think that I just sort of sit down and I just start skinning it.
Yeah. Excellent.
Already
Exactly
covered
what
in
you want.
blood.
Yeah. And you guys could use the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you spend 20 minutes hacking it up, wrap it in the skin, put it on a pack, and head back into town. Okay. So that's a little sight into young Garrul's, young Zendar's childhood. Now, in present day, Zendar is, 19? Did we decide on how old is he?
17.
17. Okay, so Zendar is 17 years old. You all guys have been living in a small walk-up flat in the poor area of Skyhaven, kind of near the docks, basically, like pushed all the way out. And she's been sending you on missions.
I thought we were near the edge of this.
Was that?
I thought we were near the edge, near the
Yeah.
woods.
Yeah, so where the docks are is near the woods.
Oh,
right? It's all
okay.
the way pushed out
Gotcha.
towards, away from the city. So you guys have been out there. You guys have been living here for several years. Your mom's been working. You've been picking up, certain odd jobs now and then, or just doing tasks that she would assign to you, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it involves stealing. Sometimes it involves, taking a horse or whatever, But
Just stealing.
yeah, right. It's all stealing most likely. Like you haven't killed anyone yet.
Yeah.
You've just been stealing. So, one day, it's very busy in the city because there's a autumn festival, and everything's kind of like done with ribbons, and there's some lighting up, some magical lighting up, and everything is just being readied for this whole 3-day festival. But you're not concerned about that. What you're concerned about is that your mom has sent you into the market, and she sent you to get pomegranates and cheese and a couple other things. And these are things that are usually a little outside of your budget, but your mom loves them, so she's got to be planning something special. Also, she doesn't usually send you to get these things as much.
Yeah, she doesn't like me being out too much.
Yep. All right, so you are in the market. What are you doing? Also, what does Zendar look like? How is he dressed right now?
You can bring up I sent you the picture. Basically, he is a young tiefling man. His skin is sort of a very light black, I guess. Not very light, but it's a light black.
Like a deep gray. Yeah.
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 And his horns are just pitch black.
Right.
As are his as is his tail.
Sure. Oh, so he has a tail.
He has a tail. His tail is long and thin like a rat's tail.
Sure.
And it's sort of prehensile. Sort of like he can move it around, but if he lets it, if he isn't paying attention, it'll move on its own.
Yeah.
Which is just a nice plot device.
Yeah, sure. It just kind of does its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is currently dressed in just simple peasant's clothing. Like he's very simply dressed.
Yeah.
Mostly because he doesn't want to stick out at all.
Sure. Has a cloak up over, has a hood up over his horns and things. Yeah.
And he has long black hair that is usually tied back.
Okay.
And he braids it.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And today I think he has it braided.
Sure.
And it just kind of comes down in this long braid down his chest.
Sure. Almost mimicking his tail, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then his skin is this everything about him is like dark colors, and then his eyes and his teeth are white.
Okay, gotcha. So
His
they
eyes
stand out
are like a
pretty starkly.
milky white,
Yeah.
and his teeth are like a bright, like clear white.
Sure. Okay. Excellent.
And he has slightly pointed teeth,
Okay. So how is he getting?
except for his fangs; those are pretty sharp.
Sure. Yeah. So how is Zendar acquiring the items on his mother's shopping list?
He's just going to the stores.
Oh, okay. All right. So you just go to the shopkeepers and buy them.
I mean, does he have the money?
Yeah. 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 She gave you just enough money. Like if you haggled a bit, she gave you just enough money.
I think if he wasn't told explicitly to steal,
Right.
he wouldn't seek out stealing because
Sure.
it could bring trouble to him and his family.
Fair
and
enough.
he doesn't know anything about the people, so he doesn't just want to steal from random people.
Okay. Roll me a streetwise, since
Alright.
we've added that to the character sheet because we missed that.
Okay. And by we mean the people that was the
No, I did. I actually added it.
No, I mean they missed it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That is what is streetwise? Charisma based? or
Yeah.
Could it be intelligence based?
No.
Yeah. That's a 14.
Yeah, that works out great. So that's fair enough. You're able to, haggle these people down a little bit so that they give you the city deals as opposed to the people coming in for the festival deals, right?
Yeah.
You're a local, you get a local price. So you're able to buy everything on the list, and you have 2 silver left over.
All right, I'm going to take it back to my mother.
Okay. As you're walking out,
I mean, I could buy something else.
that's a question
But,
I had.
yeah.
What is something Zendar would want for himself?
That's the thing. I don't think he would want anything for himself.
No?
Because he, except for maybe clothing, he likes having a nice sense of style,
Okay.
but he doesn't like spending on himself.
Sure.
And he doesn't like. He doesn't use weapons. He's got his powers at this point.
Yeah.
At least mostly, so he can manifest different blades and stuff like that. With shadow.
Yeah.
And I think he likes to keep as little on him as possible.
Sure. Fair enough. High or low?
Low.
Okay. So you're walking through the crowds, and it's getting thick. Like there's lots of people, and there's clearly some people who have already been drinking, and like revelry has begun. And you bump into a person you're like who very like this large guy who very gruffly is like, "Get out of my way," and kind of shoves you aside, and you step to the side. I assume you're not going to start anything, right?
No, I like humbly kind of should put my head down like, sorry, sir.
So he goes off, you turn to go off, and resting at your feet is a coin purse.
I pick up the coin purse.
Okay. All right. So you just kind of pick it up real deftly and continue walking. Do you check it now, or do you get out of the area first?
I get out of the area first. I'm not a noob.
Yeah. So you get a couple streets up and you kind of duck into an alley, right? Just to check it out. You open it up. There's like 57 gold in here. There's 57 pieces of gold, and there's this small signet ring with an emerald and a little silver dragon that kind of comes out from the ring's edge and wraps around the top of the emerald to hold it in place.
I assume that my mother is in contact with fences.
Yeah, absolutely she is. She knows who to talk to.
Would I know who she talks to?
I mean, you've maybe seen a guy once in a while, but you've never done it yourself.
So I wouldn't know where to go?
Not really. She wouldn't send you out for a mission like that.
Yeah, I figured. She'd just have me get the stuff and then...
I'll take care of it.
My mother always knows best, so I figure I'll take it back to her.
Okay, excellent. So you're walking back towards the house. It's about a 20-minute walk from the market. And you're making your way through smaller and smaller streets as they get narrower and narrower, and the buildings get thicker and more piled up on top of each other. And there's strings of laundry, and it just gets denser with poor people, basically. And they're all kind of shoved into one area of the city. As you do, I'd like you to roll perception.
Can I go with the 20 from earlier? That is a 13.
Okay. Okay. You know how you sometimes get the feeling, like when you're on a subway and you know that someone's looking at you and you look up and you meet eyes for a sec, even though they're half a car down, right?
Yeah.
You get the feeling someone is looking at you and you turn around and there's no one there.
Well, I wouldn't turn around.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you turn around? What would you do?
No, first off, I don't need to turn around.
Right.
Because I'm blind.
Right.
Second off, I wouldn't turn around so that I wouldn't show that I know that they're following me.
I wonder, do you think without sight you wouldn't feel that? Or is that a neurological thing?
No, I think it is. That's interesting. Actually.
Yeah, I wonder that too.
I wonder if I might just have heard something or sensed something
that makes
as opposed to the same exact feeling.
I should be using more than one sense anyway.
Yeah.
Let's say that you hear a shoe scrape behind you.
All
but
right.
There's nothing within your field of vision.
Okay, so it's out of my range.
Maybe, but it sounded close enough to be in your range. That's the thing.
Could I roll a perception or?
Well, you just did.
Oh, I just
that
did.
was
I
your
forgot.
perception.
Yeah, that was my perception. I forgot. All right. Well, I can't bring them back to Mother's house. Our house. So I'm going to try to lose them.
Okay. How are you going to do that?
I'm just going to start sprinting and going down alleyways, and I know this neighborhood.
Roll me another streetwise.
Why would this be streetwise?
Roll me with advantage, because you're trying to duck down alleys and lose them and everything. Well,
like
you know what? Hang on. Roll me
thing
an
than
acrobatics
streetwise.
instead.
Okay.
How about that?
Is it advantage or?
No, this is just an acrobatics.
Okay.
That's going to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to do it. That is a 25.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it. So you go sprinting down a couple back alleys, you kind of you clamber over some boxes, you may even run along a rooftop and then, slide and drop back down, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're sure there's no way anyone could have possibly followed you.
All right. I go back to my mother's.
Okay. So you go back up to your mom's and the door's locked. It's not uncommon for her to just lock the door. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I went out, she would lock the door.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I knock on the door.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have is it a special knock so that she knows it's you?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And you know what? She changes it up every week. So every week she makes you learn a new knock just because the neighbors were listening. So you do the dun 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 dun, and then she knows it's you, and then there's all these chains and bolts being unlocked, and she opens it up. Oh,
and the reason she did that is so that she can knock and I'll know who it is.
Right, exactly.
Because otherwise I can't look through the.
Right, exactly. There has to be some sort of auditory cue. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and she opens it up, and she's already smiles. Zendar, come. And she opens the door for you.
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
Because my mother does.
Oh
not
yeah,
smile
she's in a very good mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am cautious,
Mm-hmm.
but I bring the food and everything into the place.
Excellent. So you go to bring it in, but your main table is covered with maps and papers and an inkwell. There's no place to put it, so you have to have to go and put it on a little butcher's block off to the side. Yeah. So did you? And she's picking through it, and for a moment she just pulls out this perfect pomegranate. It is exactly ripe. I don't know how the hell you eat a pomegranate. I think you peel it open and eat the seeds or something. But whatever it is you do, that's what she does. And then you
have to slice it.
Is that it? Okay, well, she's cutting it open, and she pulls a little board, and she's cut the cheese because she knows that...
You slice it in half,
yeah.
And then you eat the seeds out of it.
Oh, perfect. Right, so that's what she's done. She's cracked it open, and she's eaten the seeds out of it. And she's also cut a few generous slabs of cheese because she knows that you just like to eat the cheese and nothing else. It drives her nuts because she keeps saying, these are ingredients, Zendar, but whatever, that's your thing.
Talking about that.
Yep. So you have a couple pieces of cheese, and it's fantastic. Everything's great. The bread's great. The cheese is great. This is better than you all usually eat.
Yes. And then near the end of the eating, I bring out the signet ring.
Okay.
And I say...
Do you show her the gold as well?
Not at the moment.
Okay, fair enough.
I just take out the signet ring.
Right.
and I say, Mother, I came upon this. I was not sure what it was, but I figured you would know someone who did.
She takes a look at it, and hang on. Well, it appears to be probably from the King's Guard, maybe. Yes, I mean, they don't use this one anymore. They have a different design. It's now a lion. But I believe this could be from the old King's Guard. Where did you find such a thing, Zendar?
I take it, and then I take out the pouch, put it on the table.
Her eyes get wide.
And I say, well, I found this in the street. A man dropped it, and I wasn't sure.
Did you pickpocket him?
No.
We cannot take those chances,
I did
Zendar.
not pickpocket him, Mother. You know me.
Okay.
It fell, and he was gone before I could find him. It was a large crowd. So I figured if we are to return it to him, you would be able to find him.
And she takes the pouch and she opens it. She goes through and fingers all the gold. She pulls one up and she looks at it really carefully. She puts it back in. She closes it. It would seem that fate is on our side, for once.
I would kind of chuckle at that, and just like a tiny bit, just like a.
Yeah, and she's in a pretty good mood, so you can get away with that. Yeah.
And then I would look down at it and say, is the signet ring a more personal value, or should it be?
No, it has quite value. That is a real emerald, and it is embedded within real platinum.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you what. Today is a graduation day of sorts. I'm going to go ahead and take this gold. We'll use that for our expenses. You keep the ring. You've earned it. It's yours.
I would be very hesitant to do that because I don't keep any sort of personal effects.
Yeah.
Even like my daggers and things, like she has worked into me this whole like anti-hoarder thing.
Yeah, she's given you everything you've ever owned.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's taken away everything I've ever owned.
Yes, she has.
Because as soon as I didn't need knives anymore, she took away all my knives.
Yeah. Well, you guys sold them and then bought a good bow.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when I didn't need a bow anymore, she took away the bow.
Yep.
But I'm hesitant, but I take it and then I take out of the bag. I assume has like a leather string that like ties it.
Yeah, like a little silk pouch.
I create a little blade of shadow with my out of my finger.
Sure.
And I sort of cut the string and pull it out.
Sure.
And then I use that to tie through the ring and wrap it around my neck.
Okay, and just kind of duck it.
Yeah, and then sort of because I don't want to wear it.
Right. A little gaudy, but you want it.
Yes, but I want to have it.
All right, excellent. So then afterwards, after you guys have eaten and after you have shown her the pouch, she walks you towards the table. And the table is showing this like main stage for this festival and some area behind it. And clearly your mom has just sketched all this out by hand. She must have been down there while they were setting up. And she starts to talk to you about a gentleman who's going to be opening the ceremonies there. And that is your first target.
My first target.
Yes, he is a slaver, basically. He would call himself a merchant. What he is a slaver, despite the fact that it's illegal here in Skyhaven. There's ways and money to work around anything. This man has done more harm to this city and the poor within it than anyone I know. And tonight, you're going to end him.
I would nod and just sort of put my fingers along the sketch.
Yeah.
And kind of almost stroke, like there. I assume there's like a sketch of his face.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that I could recognize him.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Actually, it's not even a sketch. What she's done is taken basically a clay tablet and carved into it.
Okay, yeah.
So you can actually.
Because I was going to say I can feel
Yep.
along, because I can't see his face, but I can feel along the powder of or if she carved it.
Yeah. Same thing with the map, by the way. It's not a drawing. She's made a little teeny wooden stage and just very roughly marked out the buildings around it, so you can get a feel for it and you understand you understand the street and how everything's laid out.
Yeah, and the shadows it casts
Yep.
and everything. So I run my fingers along the drawing, and I say, he is not a handsome man.
He is not.
And he will certainly not be missed.
A few will miss him, but they don't matter.
He kind of shrugs at that and says, I will do what must be done, mother.
Excellent. And then she turns to the side and she pulls open a drawer and a little thing, and she hands you equipment, the nice armor you have, and
the glamour studded arm leather.
Exactly. When you wear this, you can make this armor look like any clothing you desire.
Any clothing.
Anything.
Interesting.
Try it on.
I tried on, and
She helps you adjust some of the straps.
And I can't see color because I can't see.
Right.
So everything that I would make with it would just be generally shades of gray and black, and like white and stuff like that. So like it's just the degree to which light is there. But I think I can still, based on the way that light affects things, I can still tell like texture and the
silk would have more shine,
that
like
sort
that.
of thing.
So
I create this sort of coat and vest that are dark gray, and so that just a little bit of light shines off them.
Yeah.
And they look quite more dapper than I would normally dress. It's clearly like it would be a matter of pride for someone who wore those types of clothes.
Yeah.
But it's not garish.
Right. It's nice. It's classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I just sort of created that as just the first thing that popped into my head. And then I quickly just go to like a black cloak, close-fitting clothes.
And your mom had turned away for a second, so she didn't even notice.
Yeah, she didn't even notice that and then I quickly go to the black-fitting, dark, close-fitting clothes that like very nondescript, very what my mother would want.
Okay, excellent. So you are preparing to go out into the city at night? Are you ready?
I am.
So it's about 7 or 8 p.m. You're fully outfitted. Your mother's like doing like another like mom once over, like just to make sure everything's fine. You know what I mean? And she then nods and takes a step back, and then like she puts a hand on your chest, and she looks at you, and you know she's looking into your eyes, even though you can't see her, but she's right in front of you, and you just feel her looking at you. I know this is a lot, but you've trained for this. You're ready.
And I kind of just, I'm taller than her. I'm 6'2". So my eyes are just kind of staring above her.
Sure.
And I look down with my eyes because I can still control my eyes. I just can't.
Right.
I look down with my eyes to like kind of try to meet hers.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't meet them exactly, but I like
in
look
the general
towards
area
her.
of her. Yeah.
And then I say, I will make you and father proud.
You must make fate proud, my dear. And then she turns and begins to unlock the doors.
All right. I put up my hood over my horns, and I walk out into the night.
Okay. It is packed. The streets are packed. There's little parades going by. People are carrying these really well, you wouldn't know that they were that they were garish, but you would know that they are like these wooden platforms with like different, you know, depictions of deities on them, and there's obviously candlelight and lantern light because there's, you know, weird pools of light cutting into your shadow everywhere, and every quarter of the city has taken their favorite god and built like a celebration to them that they will then carry down to the river, set into the canals, and light on fire as they head out into the sea. It's their yearly festival. Yeah. So you're following a large crowd like that. It's very easy to slip into the shadows and be unseen here because it's just so packed.
Yeah. I would just kind of go with the flow of the crowd. I wouldn't try and push through. I would just sort of casually walk along with the crowd.
I would like you to roll perception.
22.
Okay, so you're walking along with this river of people, and there's a river of people walking the other way, and everyone's just kind of like a little bit tight in. So you're kind of being forced along like everyone else is. There's really no way to, like, you could like step into an alley, but that's pretty much it. So you're walking along and there's this river going this way, and then you know as you pass this alley, someone is staring right at you.
I keep moving.
Okay, so you keep moving. You feel their eyes on you the whole time. You just know they're staring at you, and then they're outside of your perception, and you're still moving along towards the stage. As you get there, people are filing in. It now opens up a bit, so it's not so packed in, and there are just wooden benches that have been set in a semicircle, enough for about 1,000 people, and then there's standing room for another 1,000 beyond that. And there's a wooden stage in front of you, and it's all in front of this. It's all built in front of this one dock off of the canal. So most of the docks are at the end, and then things get put on canal boats and brought up. The main dock is large enough to bring up ships, and this is one place where the ships can actually pull off the dock and drop their goods much further into the city. Okay. And so at this one, like, large general store, it's in the main it's in the main bazaar area. It's one of the few permanent structures. Most are just tents or wagons that set up and sell right there for the day. But this is like a well-known permanent store, and the man who runs it, I don't have a name for him. Help me with the name. The man who runs it is named
Gavros.
Gavros. Isn't that too close to you? It's too close to Davros. We can't do that one. You don't watch Voltron.
Not Davros.
Yeah, but it's way too close to Davros. It's how about Gavver? Shoot. How about Gaston? No, we can't do
French?
it. No. How about Gabriel?
Okay.
Okay. So the man's name is Gabriel. He owns a lot of shipping. He has deeds to shipping, so ships come in and he makes money, right? He owns the store, and he also networks slaves. And he is the gentleman you are here to kill.
All right. Did she inform me of his schedule or anything? Or?
Yeah, he is going to open up the ceremony. So he'll be the first one to step onto the stage, announce that it's open, and then there'll be singers and...
Now, am I supposed to kill him in public?
No, that wasn't specified. No, not at all.
Okay, because I could make an example of him.
You could make an example of him. And a public example of him would be...
more effective.
Yeah, I mean, you could read it that way, certainly, yeah.
But it would cause my mother and I to be hunted.
If anyone saw you do it, yeah.
Well, that would be the... I mean, how would I do it without being seen?
You shoot shoot him with a bow from the shadows. I mean, who knows? You know. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, less risk, less impact. Higher risk, high impact.
Oh, I just had a very good idea.
Okay.
All right. Are they moving things? Do they have like simple cranes that move things onto like with pulleys and stuff? Like
So, here is the stage. Here is the store/warehouse, and on the other side of it, yes, there would definitely be at least a crane to help move things off the ship.
all right, so it's not close enough to the stage.
You could.
Because I was thinking like
Yeah, it wouldn't be close enough to the stage. You
Yeah.
couldn't drop something right on the stage. That's smart, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to just
Yeah. End it and be done with it.
Yeah.
Have the
Just
big old
like-
box smash. Yep. Hi, I am Crunch. Yeah.
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 The giant anvil sign falls down from the blacksmith.
It's a piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All right. But I am just going to observe
Okay.
for now because I need to look for any openings, I mean, not look, but I need to
You need to find an
observe.
opening.
Yeah. I need
Yeah.
to find an opening.
Okay. So I would like you to roll a perception.
14.
There's a lot of people moving things back and forth, a lot of workers setting up lanterns and lights all around the place. There's some seats that are being set up on stage. And there's a gentleman that you're pretty sure matches the description. Larger, big old pot belly, maybe 6'4". And he is at the back clearly giving people instruction. So that's got to be your guy.
If I can only get close enough to feel his face.
Hi, excuse me. Great.
Yeah. No, I am going to move closer. Is there a way to access the rooftops from along like the roof of the warehouses?
Oh, sure. Absolutely, there is. You could go alongside an alley and find a way up there, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and do that.
Okay. So which alley? So there's one alley because the other side of it faces the water.
Yeah.
So I would like you to. Okay. So you get alongside, and there's a couple windows on the second level, right? Nothing on the base. It's all brick all the way up. So you'd have to find a way to get up to that second-story window, or at least up the side of the wall. You could try to scale it.
How narrow is the alleyway? Like how close are the walls to each other?
It's decently wide because they need to get wagons and things through here. So it's about 10 feet.
10 feet. Oof. So I definitely can't do the...
No, not unless you're huge.
How tall is it?
2 stories. The warehouse part is a flat roof, and then it goes into the store
but like
part.
in feet.
Oh, so
how
like-
high are the windows?
20 feet. Oh, the windows are about 10 feet high.
Because I would like to, because I've done like parkour type stuff before,
Sure.
and that's not that hard to run
Yeah.
up a
No,
wall
I
and
would,
get up 10
I would
feet.
say Zendar
to-
could probably run up and grab that edge.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right, roll me in acrobatics.
That is a 15.
Okay, yeah. You're able to, so you kind of look left, look right, and then just like, and just grip your fingers at the edge of the window.
All right. Is the window open? Is it locked? Is it? I'm going to try and see if it. Yeah.
Call high or low.
Low.
The window's open.
All right. I'm going to pull myself up into the window. Well, first I'm going to sense if there is anyone up there. Like just listen.
Sure. Perception.
13.
You don't think so.
All right. I pull myself up into the window.
As you pull up and into the window, and kind of drop down and get your bearings, and there's just like rows of shelves and boxes just lined all throughout here. And it's all smaller
Is it
things.
dark?
Oh, yeah, it's dark. It's all smaller things because, of course, the larger things would probably be left on the ground, a floor, right? And at the back is a staircase and a ramp.
Going up or down?
Down.
Both the staircase and the ramp are going down?
Both go down.
There's nothing up to the roof?
Nothing from right here, no.
Okay. So this is in a building adjacent to the warehouse, or this is the warehouse itself?
It's kind of connected. So imagine like a rectangular building, right? It's all warehouse, just 2 stores of warehouse. And then right attached to it is a 3-story shop that's got a more normal roof and everything.
All right. So what I'm going to try and do is get onto the 3rd story of the shop and then jump onto the roof of the warehouse.
Okay. So how are you going to do that from where you are?
I'm going to walk into the next room, I guess.
Okay.
Well, first I'm going to see if it is dark in there.
It's dark throughout this level right now.
Okay, it's dark throughout the level. So yeah, I'm just going to move into the next room.
Okay, so you kind of like cut through the boxes and shelves. You get to where there's a staircase that goes kind of steep down, right? And then there's a huge ramp that goes to 2 doors. So it probably goes outside and then down to the docks. And then behind all that is another set of doors.
I go through the doors.
Okay. You open the doors. You're now in a smaller room, and it's like got just flour and grain and like all sorts of food goods stacked to the ceiling in fine rows. There's a door kind of towards the back, and there's also, you can sense like a hatch in the ceiling, and there's a ladder leaning up against the wall.
All right. I pick up the ladder and use it to get up to the hatch.
Okay, you kind of align it, and like it fits in. Like there's a place for the ladder to fit in.
Lock.
You climb up, push open the hatch, and you're on the roof.
All right.
The roof is flat and has a low edge, so you're going to have to stay low the whole time you're up there.
Yeah. And I would already be staying low.
Yeah.
I sort of almost crawl along the top, like I'm like with my hands on my hands and feet.
Sure.
Like crouching, but with my hands. And I move along like quickly, but silently to the edge of the and kind of like listen.
Okay, perception.
8.
Okay, it's gotten a little darker. It's
good.
Yeah, exactly. It's too loud. There's too much going on. You can't hear a single thing, but you focus for a while, and you realize that you're on the edge overlooking the stage, and that there's a couple people around. I mean, most people are being held out to the sides because it's not open yet.
So this is overlooking the stage.
But now you're overlooking the stage.
Interesting.
And you can sense him right there, right below you. There's some rustling of paper.
Well,
but you know that he's there. And right now, there's no one standing around him.
Is he on the stage?
He is at the edge of the stage, right? Kind of like overseeing it. And maybe he's preparing his notes or whatever, what he's going to say, but he's right there.
I think I'm going to wait.
Okay.
I know this is the perfect opportunity to kill him.
Sure.
But I want to make a message out of this guy.
All right.
So I want to wait until everyone's eyes are on him.
Perfect. Okay. Well,
So what I'm going to spend this time doing is just taking things up onto the roof.
Okay.
Like just large boxes.
And kind of like making a little
Full of
area for
shit.
yourself.
And I'm just like, I'm both making an area for myself and like preparing heavy things to throw on him.
Okay, fair enough.
Not throw on him, but like just kind of push over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not gonna. You're not
gonna.
directly
Okay, fair enough.
above. Yeah.
Fair enough. Then I'm just sort of like making a little alcove for myself that like
Okay.
a little more of a ledge, like someone stored stuff on the.
So you
roof.
slide back in. Go ahead and roll an investigation.
18.
Okay, so you're looking for a balance here of things you can carry up a ladder and push through a hatch, right?
Yeah.
And things that are heavy.
Yeah.
So there's a couple bags of flour.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely bags of grain. Those you could, string on your back. There's a sack of potatoes. There's things like that. There are some casks of whiskey and things like that you'd have to struggle with, but you might be able to get up there as well.
Okay.
The rest are pretty big boxes that
Yeah.
would be unwieldy and unable to go through that hole.
Makes sense. Oh, you know what's a great idea? I'm gonna find flour.
Yep. There's flour there.
I'm gonna take just as much flour as I can
Okay.
and throw it up onto the.
Yeah. So let's say you get, 6 or 7 sacks of flour. Big sacks of flour, like 20, 25 pounds
Yes.
each. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Almost like you're sandbagging the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you spend the next half an hour getting a couple sacks there. As you pull like the 5th one up, right? There's a blare of a trumpet, and you kind of drop down instinctively. A couple things flare up that must be magical fire, and the whole area is kind of bathed in warm light. And it kind of like, it cuts into your vision for a moment, and you lose track of the guy. And now he's not on stage, and he's not in the general area.
I'm just gonna wait until I hear him
Okay. So there's
because I don't have blind sense, but I
Right.
can still hear him.
right, exactly. So
And I mean, I still have blind sense, like very limited,
yeah.
in a very limited range.
So there's someone walks up onto a stage and announces that it's the 38th festival of midwinter. I really should know what this festival is, but it's like a festival. It's like a apple picking autumn festival, right? It's some autumn fall pumpkin-esque thing, and it's going on giving proclamations about what the events are going to be. There's a person who steps up. There's a Mr. and Mrs. Autumn Festival that both stand up from last year, and they wave, and they have crowns on their heads, right? And so there's a couple of things. There's a band that's playing some music in the background, and eventually they announce. I want to call him Reginald, but that's not his name. They announce.
Oh, by the way,
wait.
Oh,
We
sorry.
just named him. What was his name?
his name was. It started with a D, I think.
Oh, we're the worst. How do we do that? It was hang on.
Dorian.
It wasn't Dorian, nor was it Gerald. It was none of these things. We're just gonna go with Dorian, even though it's wrong. So Dorian, blah blah blah, and you hear a bunch of clapping, and someone is making their way to the stage. Gabriel. It was Gabriel.
Gabriel. It was Gabriel. Would I have just like a flint and steel?
I don't see why you would. Why would you have brought it?
Okay, would I have been able to find one in the? Because I would have been looking for that. From the
All right. Roll a
Investigation?
Is there a search?
Investigation is basically search.
Gotcha. Roll investigation.
11.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, it's not the kind of goods that would be stored there.
Fair.
Yeah.
Just nothing that is like.
There's
I
a
can create
lantern.
fire with. Oh, well, yeah. I
Yeah.
could use that.
Yeah, that'll definitely work.
It'll definitely work.
Yeah. There's an oil lantern, and it's the kind of oil lantern where you turn a switch, and it has a flint built into
This
it.
is going to be horrific.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I know what you're doing, and it's gonna be awful.
Yes, it's going to be horrific.
All right, so you're up there, you're pressed against it. You got the lantern that's filled with oil that has its own switch that you've tested. You've got bags of flour, and after some pomp and circumstance and a trumpet playing, he steps up and takes the stage and starts talking about how he's so happy to be here and how he.
All right, while he's doing that,
yeah.
I am preparing these bags of flour right on the edge.
Sure.
So that I can just kick them over
Yeah.
and then shoot my sort of blades of shadow
Sure.
out to rip open the bags
Right.
and just flour all over the stage.
Now, it's about 20 feet So you'd have to
Okay,
throw
so
them.
I could throw it and then.
But you can
You
do
said
what
they
you
were
want
like
to do.
25 pounds, so I could throw them.
Yeah, you can chuck it. Yeah.
I'm a strong dude.
Yeah.
My strength is relatively high.
So you want to basically eviscerate this thing midair, so it rains down flour in a fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. Yep. Okay.
That's exactly what I'm doing, Ron.
All right. This is why flour mills exploded, by the way. Okay. So I would like you. So then he's in the middle of his speech. You've certainly got surprise. I'd like you to roll to hit.
Do I roll with advantage?
No.
Okay. What am I rolling for?
This is a strength thing because you're throwing it. No. This is a dex thing. So add your dex that you normally would.
Like my normal attack?
Yeah.
All right, that's
It's +6, right?
+7.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you get?
Because it's +1, so that is 16.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. So you lean back and you just chuck this sack of flour out, and you just kind of follow it with just the tiniest little finger, right? Just need one little cut. And then flour is now spilling out in this rain, and the audience is like not sure what to think of it at first.
Yeah,
because they just see this
they see it as
white
a spectacle.
This white powder like kind of flying out. It could be part of it. It could be part of whatever.
That was the plan.
What's the follow-up?
The follow-up is I do the same thing with the oil lantern.
Okay, so you basically fluck this out, and then the second you just hit flink and hurl the whole thing. Is that what's going on? All right, the oil splashes into it as it's flipping over. Little flicks of flame dash out. Roll one more to hit. 8 + 7?
15.
That's going to do it. So as it gets into where the middle of the flour is falling down, and at this point the bag has landed directly next to him, like wham, right next to him, and startled him. But now flour is coming down all around him.
It's raining down like snow.
Raining down like beautiful, gentle snow. And then the fire hits him, and it erupts. This wash of flame just crashes down onto the stage around him, covering him in fire. Everyone begins to scream because there's this roaring column of fire on him. It doesn't last long. It like bursts, but now he's still burning, and
as soon as I throw the lantern, I'm shooting shit at him.
Okay, roll to hit.
All right. Do I get both attacks with the
At this point, I'd say yes.
With the ranged?
Yeah, why not?
Those are both 9s, which makes it a 16.
So as he's on fire and he's turned back towards the edge of the stage, reaching for help, 2 arrows, one in the chest.
Not arrows. I'm firing my
your darkness things.
Darkness. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 somethings lash out, strike him in the chest, open up wounds. They're already gone by the time they've opened up wounds. Blood is now pouring out of his chest. He turns to the front, and there's all this burn and blood.
And then I would like to cast thaumaturgy as a tiefling.
Okay, yeah.
Tieflings get thaumaturgy for free, by the way.
Yes, they do, because they're creepy as fuck.
I would like to cast thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
And I would like to project my voice so that no one can hear where I'm coming from.
Sure, fair enough.
And like bounce it off the walls and shit.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, People of Skyhaven, this is what happens to the evildoers of our city. Fear the Shadowbringer.
As you do that, he drops to his knees, falls down, and blood begins to run out over the stage. And people now are just flipping out. They're screaming, they're running.
Fear justice.
They're calling for guards. Things are being knocked over.
And
people are being trampled.
As I'm thaumaturging, sorry.
That's okay.
As I'm thaumaturging, I'm just walking back down, casually walking down the, jump out the same window.
Perception.
That's a natural 1.
Okay. So you just keep walking.
Yeah.
So you walk down, you go through, you jump out the window, land in the alley.
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you headed? Now, people are like rushing by everywhere. There's chaos everywhere.
I am headed to the forest.
You're headed out of the city.
Yes, because this has caused a big spiel.
Yes.
This is going to need to calm down.
Okay.
Before I can go back home.
Okay. So you turn to head towards the city. I'm imagining taking side routes and things like that, right? Not doing the main roads. Okay, so you turn to go back towards the city, and there's a hand on your shoulder. And there's a person behind you. Perception?
Wow, I'm just killing these perceptions. I should know by now. 11.
Okay. There's something familiar about this guy. He's big. He's a real big guy, and he just clamps a hand on your shoulder and turns
he's
you to
the dude
side,
from earlier, isn't he?
And he's like, so, we're going to start off by killing people, are we?
And by this time, I've changed my clothes.
Yeah.
So to fit in, so they're just like brown, like peasant clothing, like just regular peasant clothing, not covered in flour.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good thing you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I turn to him, and my eyes kind of, I make it clear that I'm blind.
Yeah.
Like by just like kind of searching around with my eyes, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, sir. Did you need something?
Oh, come now. And then
I kind of feel for his face.
Yep. And he lets you. And then he reaches into his shirt and he pulls out an amulet. And there's a stone on it. And as he pulls it out, it glows. And it cuts into your shadow a bit.
As soon as it glows, I'm going straight for the stomach. Shadow Blade.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Roll to hit.
Because I know who these people are.
Yeah.
And my mother has warned me that these people will take me away from her.
Yes, she has.
Going straight for the stomach, blade. That's a nat 18.
Yeah, nat 18.
Plus
that's
7, 25.
That's definitely going to hit.
All right. So damage and sneak attack, I assume?
Yeah, I would think that's fair.
10 plus 4 is 14 damage.
Yeah. So you cut deep into this gentleman's stomach, and he stumbles for a moment and loses grasp.
Yeah,
of you.
and so I just run.
Okay, and you hear him cough twice, and he's like, "There's nowhere to run."
I'm going for the forest.
Okay, you hear someone knock a bow. Does an 18 hit you?
Yes.
Okay. Someone knocked a bow from the other
me.
rooftop, and you take 4 points of damage. Doesn't quite get through the leather, but it slams into your left shoulder.
Okay. How do I take damage?
Okay, so you just go up to here.
Oh, okay, up there.
Yeah. Here.
Hit points.
Put 4 in there.
Minus
There you go. That works too.
3, 4, 5, 6?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Apply changes.
There you go. All right, so now you're just sprinting. And you
I'm
can hear
sprinting,
people running behind you.
I'm just straight for the forest. I don't give a shit who sees me at this point.
Roll acrobatics.
All right. Oof. That's still a 13.
Okay, so you're running for a while, and you're dipping down certain alleys. You can hear someone running along the rooftops next to you. And does a 17 hit you?
Just barely.
Oh, okay, so one more arrow lashes out. This one does 5 points of damage. That one got a little through the leather.
Mm-hmm.
That one hurt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are you doing?
I am... Do I know where the person is? Should I roll perception or something? Or
You know that they're on a rooftop off to your left, running behind you.
okay. I'm just going to... All right, I'm going to get to a place where I look like I'm... do I know of like an alleyway or something where I will... they will think that I'm trapped?
Streetwise.
But they're... Okay. What's Streetwise based on again? Charisma?
Off charisma. Although, yes, off charisma.
7.
Okay. I mean, not here. This is a little further from home. Yeah. But you can keep running and look for one.
Yeah, I'm going to do that then.
Okay. I would like you to roll another acrobatics.
I have not rolled above a 10. That was a 10. Which is 16.
Okay. So you're running through some alleys. You believe you got a little bit ahead of the person chasing you on the rooftops. You duck down a couple more. You're still heading towards the forest, and eventually you get to a point where you think you got ahead of them.
Okay. What I'm going to do is lay a little bit of an ambush.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to be able to outrun these people for long. Because they found me. I assume that there's the same person who was following me before. Twice. And they've been able to find me. And I have been very... I was sure I had lost them.
Yep.
So if I can't lose them, all I can do is stand and fight. But I don't have to fight fair.
Fair.
So, especially because there's more of them.
Right. There's
So,
at least 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I am going to run into a china shop.
Okay.
Like a literal,
Sure.
like pottery.
Like a pottery or glassware. Sure.
Yes,
absolutely.
glassware.
Yeah.
Actually, a blown glass would be perfect.
Okay. With 2 arrows sticking out of you?
What?
You have 2 arrows
Oh,
sticking
well,
out
yeah.
of you.
I mean, if I find a blown glass
Sure,
place,
yeah.
but like something like that.
Yeah, absolutely you found one.
Okay. So I run into it, and I position myself right in front of the furnace.
Now, how are you doing this? Like, there'll be people there. So how are you doing
That's
it?
no, that's I'm just like running in
Sure.
and like knocking over shit,
Okay.
and like I'm just basically and as I'm doing that, I'm screaming like, "Get out of here, or there will be blood."
Okay, hang on. Roll intimidation.
Yeah. Assumed that was going to be intimidation. That's a 7
Yeah, plus.
plus 0.
Right. Okay, well, I rolled a 6, so you're lucky. So the woman, and she goes like running out the back, and the back door slams, and now you're in the store alone.
All right. I position myself in front of the furnace.
Okay.
And right where they can see me.
Sure.
And I'm actually not, I didn't knock over anything yet.
Right.
But I just ran through, and then I'm just going to stand in front of the furnace, and as soon as anything comes in, I'm killing it.
Okay. So you stand there for 5 or 6 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of waiting and waiting. I would like you to roll a perception.
Wow, I'm just 13?
Okay. So you're waiting and waiting, and you kind of lean forward for a second, and as you do, you feel the chain shift underneath your shirt, and there's like for a second, the shadow cuts out just here around your shirt, and you pull out the ring, and you realize the ring is glowing, and at that exact moment, they attack. The guy comes busting in, the big guy comes busting in through the front door just as the furnace behind you explodes in fire. I need you to make a reflex save.
You mean dexterity?
Yes, I mean dexterity.
The save is 15.
Okay, so you make it, so you take half damage. You take 4 points of damage as you just get out of the way of fire erupting from the furnace behind you. A door slams open in the back. There's another person running in. There's a window busted open, and someone lands on the floor and has a bow drawn.
Is the dude who I injured earlier in here?
Yes, he's the big guy who came in through the front door.
All right. I'm going to charge straight for him.
Okay, you had...
Because I know he's injured.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to try and do is I know he's pretty badly hurt. So I'm going to try to basically hold a blade to his throat and hold him hostage.
Okay. Okay. Roll perception as you're charging towards him.
No, I did not get it.
Okay. You roll okay. Good enough.
I rolled a total of 10.
Fair enough. Okay. So you charge towards him, and what is the goal here? What are you trying to do? You're trying to grapple him and get a blade to his throat?
Not really grapple.
Yeah. Kind of have to
Hate
get
grappling.
I know.
Okay, fine, I'm just gonna stab him then.
Okay. Roll to hit.
I'm just gonna stab him. I'm gonna double attack. Stab him.
Those are both going to hit.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
That is 14.
Okay.
So-
You sink your blade deep into either side of his chest, almost staring directly into his eyes defiantly as you do so. At the last moment, you realize whatever wound you dealt earlier is gone.
Damn it.
Gone. But you sink these two in, and he kind of stumbles backwards. As you do that, the woman leaps up, who had landed with the bow, drops it, and comes at you with a sword. Is a 14 going to hit you?
No.
So you dance. So you kind of like, just as you just notice her coming, and are able to like get a blade up or dodge out of the way, and her sword misses you. So you now have got this wounded guy who's now stumbled a couple steps backwards, and something is going on over here. You hear someone chanting, clearly magic.
All right, I'm gonna get behind the big guy
Yeah.
and stab him again.
Okay. So, well, it's not your turn yet, so you
Oh,
can't
isn't it?
stab
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
I can't
So you move behind the big guy. A spell goes off. You, unfortunately, don't recognize magic missile, and it's going to hit you no matter what. 3, 2 is 5. Another 2 is 7. So 7 points of damage as force arrows slam into you.
Come on.
Okay. Out cold. A few hours later, you wake up. Your hands and feet are tied. Your fingers are individually bound.
Oh, I didn't kill any of them.
There's a blindfold over their eye. Not these guys. No.
Damn.
Nope. There's several people sitting around you. Like you're lying on the floor, and there's people, on like benches around you. Like there's a trough in the middle where you're lying, and two people, and they're on benches next to you on either side. And you can feel whatever you're on is gently rocking and being dragged forward. So probably a canal boat.
Is the necklace still?
It's not there.
Okay.
In fact, as your hand goes up, right?
No, my hand
Oh,
wouldn't
no,
go up.
you-
I just feel on my chest. It's
Yeah.
easy.
The ring is gone.
Yeah, I would have taken it out and crushed it if I could have.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just going to listen and be careful, like wait for an opportunity.
Okay.
Because I'm clearly not in this sort of position where I can fight back right now,
No.
and I'm clearly not, like, I'm not even gonna try and stir or anything. I'm just gonna play dead.
Okay. So there's like some talking for a while, and then one of them goes quiet and kind of like leans in to you, right? You can like just sense someone close, like, awake now, are you? You slept for a while. Was a little afraid we'd banged you up too much. And it's clearly the big guy's voice.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of curse under my breath like I didn't kill him. And I mean, I didn't want to kill him,
Yeah.
but I didn't want him to survive my attack.
Fair enough. Wait, it's one or the other.
Yeah,
Either
I
you
know.
kill him or
I know, okay? I know.
can't have both.
I feel sort of like a failure for not killing him, but I
Well.
also am relieved that I didn't kill
Yeah,
him.
it wasn't your main target.
And he's not a target at all.
No.
And
Although
I
if
don't
he
know.
is a seeker.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. And so the jig's up. I kind of sit back, and
He actually leans down and helps you.
Yeah.
Helps you get off and like kind of leaning up against a wall.
and I kind of I say, well, I've learned some social graces.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to like ingratiate myself to these people
Right.
because I know that I'm screwed if what my mother told me about the temple is true.
So better have him like you.
So I better get them to like me so they don't like torture me as much, maybe.
Sure. Also, weirdly, they've blindfolded you, even though that doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah. So I just sort of like, I keep my eyes closed and I just sort of like, I reach out and I put my hand on his face.
Okay. He allows it.
And I just sort of feel his face. What does he look like?
He looks like he's got like a thick head of hair that's kind of wild and long, and then goes into a thick just top mustache, but the whole bottom area is unshaven.
Yeah.
He's got wrinkles that are clearly earned by the sun, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not old, and he's got big shoulders and a big chest. He's just a large man.
So, they've finally found me.
We've been tracking you for some time. We were going to send one, but thought otherwise when we got some intel on you.
I'd sort of give him a little bit of a smile at that, and just sort of say, sorry about gut stabbing you earlier.
That's all right. That's why we've got Alina. And he gestures to someone that's outside of your vision.
All right. And I nod and I say, you'd be dead if she hadn't healed you.
I would believe I would be. I'd be dead without my friends. But we operate in teams for the more dangerous children.
He kind of chuckles at the whole children thing, and he says, I am no more a child than you are an ant.
Perhaps so. But much like a child, you fell for the easiest trick in the book, and he waves the ring about.
Yeah. And I just sort of like... And I just sort of, I don't look at the ring, but I like just sort of try to ignore it, and I say, have you contacted my mother?
No, of course not.
And I'm like terrified now because she can't think I ran for it. If she thinks I ran for it, that's like his biggest fear.
Look, and he notices that you're upset.
Yeah.
And he leans in and he puts a hand on your shoulder. He's like, look, you've given us a lot of trouble, and we're not really supposed to do this. But tell me what you want to say, and you hear some paper and a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. I just tell him, the temple caught me, completed the mission, made a bit of a mess. Have fun. Sincerely, Zendar Garrul.
And he does it and kind of like doesn't sign it, but writes your name, you know. Blows on the ink. Your feet folded up, and he's like, "Come here, boy." And you hear him talking. Take this, and they knew where you lived, so take this here because apparently they had tracked you when you wore the ring back home, right? And he's like, "Look, that message will be sent. Your mother will get it once we leave, which will be tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, after we ship out, that will be delivered. Fair enough?"
Yes. And, by the way, my mother and I assume would have some sort of code.
Totally.
And when I said, have fun.
Yeah, I knew that was something that just couldn't possibly be right.
Yeah. Like, neither of us would ever tell each other to have fun.
No, it would not be a thing.
Fun is not a thing that we have.
What is this? Oh, yes, right.
Yes, it's a very clear message to like that in the sort of thing that someone would say to their mother.
Yes.
But I wouldn't.
Right.
And she knows that. And so she would know that either I'm still in the city and that I can be found, or I am going to try to get out to send a message to her.
Sure,
So
of
she'll
course.
be looking for messages from me.
Fair enough. All right. And then he's like, try to relax. It's a long journey.
All right. And I just kind of sit back. I'm like, I just ignore the blindfold because it doesn't do anything for me.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just sort of lie back down and sort of pretend to sleep.
Perfect. As the canal boat just glides out of Skyhaven. Right there.